to what's arguably the most controversial Civic Type R of all time, the FK2. Why is it controversial, you might ask? Well, the Civic Type R divided opinions from the start with its high revving, low torque but high powered, well, relatively speaking. I mean, the original Civic Type R made over 180 brake horsepower from a 1.6 in 1997, which featured the famous VTEC system. They kept the recipe of a high revving, naturally aspirated engine even when the competition chickened out and went to using turbochargers. This is one of the many reasons I love them. So, when Honda announced the FK2 Type R would be equipped with a turbo, there were mixed opinions from both lovers and haters. I personally was worried this would cause the Type R to lose its rawness that some of the competition lacked. Whilst getting over the shock of the introduction of forced induction, we then had to absorb Honda's unusual styling choices. Now visually, Civic Type Rs were always a slightly sportier looking version of the normal Civic, but the FK2, well, looked like this. A crazy body kit, a massive spoiler and 4 exhausts. An EK9 would have a heart attack if you put 4 exhausts on it. The interior is reminiscent of the FN2 Type R, keeping one of the weirdest locations for a speedometer I've ever seen. But it does boast some of the best factory seats I've ever experienced, and the red seat belts are a nice touch too. Anyway, let's get on to the fun stuff. The turbocharged K20 in the FK2 was set to produce 306 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. For reference, the FN2, which was a generation before this, made 198 brake horsepower and 193 Newton meters of torque. Madness. Now, Ross's example we have here is not completely standard. It's said to be running around 370 brake horsepower, but hey, I do love a modified Civic. The FK2 is over 10 years old now, and when released, a lot of journalists claimed it was too hardcore for the road, which has obviously piqued my curiosity, so let's get it out on the road. I have always said I am not a big fan of modern cars in general, but I am a massive, massive Honda fan. So the FK2 Type R for me was one of those cars I had to drive. My love for Hondas came from the older, naturally aspirated, high revving B18s and obviously the K20s. And although the modern generations like this have the K20s, the K20C1 to be specific, the most controversial thing was the addition of the turbo. Full disclosure, we actually featured the FK8, which is the generation after this. It blew my mind. I went into that car thinking, I'm not going to like it. It's not an EP3. I'm stuck in the 90s in case you didn't realise. But it absolutely blew me away because it's just a perfect balance of a modern car and just a Honda when you need it to be. But it has got the power to keep up with the modern hot hatches. But not only that, what's more important to me is it still gave me that feeling, that the emotion of driving a car that a lot of the competitors lack. Now the FK2 in comparison to that has been mentioned by many to be a lot more hardcore, and apparently that's why a lot of people didn't like them, because they said it was a bit too hardcore for the road, which is why I'm so curious to drive this. And we need to say a massive thank you to Ross for bringing it down. You may recognize Ross's S2000 we did a while back. I absolutely adore that car. He's done a lot of work to it, so that's going to be coming back on the channel soon. But back to the matter at hand. The main thing was, well, two things obviously. I want to drive it normal because they've got such a reputation for being too hardcore for the road. So we're starting off on our normal, bouncy, unhealthy Welsh roads, and we're going to see what it drives like. But first impressions, the clutch is a bit stiffer than I thought. I will have to ask him if it's a standard clutch, because it is stiffer than I thought, and stiffer than the FK8 from what I can remember. It was a while ago we did the FK8. But immediately, the seats, Honda know how to make a beautiful seat. Not only are they very good looking seats, they are very comfy. I can already feel the bolstering on the side supporting me, and I'm only going in a straight line, but I know that in the corners, and because they're not leather, I know these seats are going to grip me well. But the steering wheel, like I said, I'm not one for modern technology. Kenny's used to all the modern tech, but I imagine this is the amount of tech I could get used to. There's still plenty of buttons. You've got a little screen. I've got an analog rev counter, which I love, with the Type R logo. That does make it feel a lot more special in here. And the speedo, typical FN2 style as well, is like buried into the dash. I imagine that would take a while to get used to because I'm looking down thinking, crap, how fast am I going? But yeah, going over the bumpy roads. Now, I'm used to older cars, so that may hinder my opinion a bit, but it's not as considerate. I mean, you look at the car, it looks raw, it looks insane. I was expecting it to be jarring my teeth, but on these horrible roads, there is a plus R button, which is when you know you're in serious territory, which does stiffen up the steering, stiffens up the suspension, the throttle response, everything. So, like I said, in normal mode now, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So, we're coming into national speed limit, so I'm going to go from second gear. Let's see. Jesus Christ. So, granted, this one isn't standard, so it's hard to compare it to the FK8. It's a lot more aggressive in its pull. Obviously, you get the turbo lag as you would with any even modern performance cars, although they hide it well. There is still a bit of turbo lag there, and I was being a bit unfair because I went from lower RPM, but believe me, that's where the fun is, because although you don't get the VTEC kick in the back, you do get there. You get the turbo punch and that blow off noise. Christ, this is an animal. So, jeez, my first impression when you put your foot down, apart from getting over the shock of being absolutely kicked in the back, is a front wheel drive car with this much power, with the traction control off, should not be able to pull you out of a corner this well without wheels spinning. The LSD at the front, sorry, I think I'm just knocked my microphone out, I get too excited. The LSD up front is not only like a gift from Honda, it is absolutely necessary. But as you come into the corners, these are tight roads, this is a high power car, but look at the way it dances! And these brakes are incredibly confidence inspiring. Woo! I wasn't sure if R mode, the R Plus is going to be a bit of a gimmick, but Jesus, this is flipping alive. Woo! Oh, I apologise for the audio. I'll have to move my microphone. Oh, right. Yeah, this, I thought R mode was going to be a bit of a gimmick. A lot of cars, you press it and like a few red lights come on, and that's about it. So you press R mode in this, and in fairness, all the dials turn red. So again, gimmicky, maybe. I actually quite like it because you know you're in something serious. And let's be face it, I hate it when a car's got 5-6 different settings. Surely, I mean, all I want is hard or soft. You either want to be going fast or you want to be going comfortably. As I said, I might have gone a bit silent then. That's one of the quickest trips up that hill I think I've ever had. The mechanical grip, like I said, I drive all the cars up here without traction control on because I like to feel, to me, that is a true testament of how a car is designed and developed. This has got more power than it technically should have. This has got more power than standard. And as I always am, I try to be a bit naughty. There's one or two corners in particular I like to push cars. This thing just didn't misbehave. It did what I wanted it to. With a bit of a sense of humour, you can get it to dance around. On these bumpy roads as well, but not once did I lose confidence. And if anything, it again made me a bit naughty and just encouraged me to push this car to what it felt like was my limits, but not the car's limits. Holy crap. Does it still feel like a Civic or Civic Type R? Now, it's a difficult one because for me, I've owned a lot of Civics now, and they're all 90s, early 2000s Civics. And the Type Rs in my head are EK9s, EP3s, and FN2s. They are lower torque, high revving engines. And to me, it doesn't feel like a Civic Type R, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. To me, it just feels like a very modern hot hatch. And if you look at it as a modern hot hatch, compared to the rivals, and we've driven a few of the rivals, like this car is so agile. We said it with the FK8, it's so agile. So if you look at it as me being critical, does it still feel like a Type R? To me, no, because I'm still stuck in the 90s. But to keep up with the competitors, they've done I think they have absolutely nailed it, and I'm trying not to fanboy too much. So has the turbo ruined it? No, it hasn't, because let's face it, as Ross was saying, if Honda brought out another Civic Type R in this day and age with, say, 210 horsepower, they just wouldn't. You would not keep up with the competition.
First time for me inside a Japanese car for a little while. Now I'm a BMW WANKER. So, it pulls hard. The revs seem to hang a bit though.
I noticed that. I thought that was a bit weird, especially for a Honda.
It is. Like I said, obviously we used to be a very revvy. It does scream quite nice, but yeah, the rev hang is a bit weird for me.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I don't like about that. I suppose it does help in changing gears. But yeah, we were just saying now, obviously I drove it down the hill. I was going to say relatively smoothly, but I did give it a little bit just to see what the chassis was like.
Oh, put it in R mode. Put it in plus R.
Okay.
Button edge, right, you know, isn't it?
Ah. So what does that do?
Stiffens up the suspension, stiffens up throttle response. I think steering as well.
And it gives you all the racing gauges.
Did you see that?
Yeah, this is fun. I gotta be honest. I thought putting a turbo on a Civic Type R would ruin the experience. To be honest, it doesn't feel like a Civic Type R.
That's exactly what I said.
Is it?
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, 2 petrol heads. Totally agreeing on it's not a Type R. It ain't, but it's not a bad thing. I still think it's a very capable car. And I was saying the chassis on is really good. You don't get any sort of movement between on and off throttle when you're on the brakes. You got no back end movement or anything. It does seem to.
It does what you want it to. It's your friend, isn't it?
It is your friend.
It's a companion.
It's like my little staffy. He's like, come on then, let's go. You know, tails go in a little bit, and he just wants you to keep going mad. So yeah, it's good fun. That's what I would say about it. And like I say, Ross said he does daily this. I can totally see why you can do that.
Yeah, but if you turn it off now, you can feel the dampers just sort of go,
okay.
Everything chills out.
Yeah, as I said, it is nice. I don't like the clutch. I don't know if it's just because of the age of the car.
I hope so, because the FK8 we did, it did not feel like that.
No,
it was very, very progressive, very light.
That's it, yeah. This is quite hard, and
I thought it was an aftermarket clutch in it.
Yeah, it feels like not very springy.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, proper technical terms. But yeah, but apart from that, yeah, there's not much I don't like about this. The seats are absolutely lovely, and nice. I used to be a bigger guy. Thank you, Manjaro. And but the seats work. Yeah, it does. The seats do hold me absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
yeah. Because
Ross was saying. The FK8, apparently because the Americans, they wanted wider seats. The Americans ruin everything.
Well, I'm sure I said in that video, because I was a lot heavier then, that they fitted me nice in there.
True. That's probably right.
But yeah, like I said, the seating position, everything's good. I don't know if the steering wheel's like pointing to really close to me. I haven't changed any of the seat.
Yeah, it is telescopic, so you can change.
Yeah, which would be great, because like I said, I got arms like a T-Rex at the moment. But apart from that, once again, the seating position's good. Obviously, you got the bit weird with the split glass.
Yeah.
So I'm used to that. I had a couple of CRXs years ago. So yeah, which brings me back to it a little bit. But yeah, apart from that, I do like it. It's nice. It's nice. It is typical Jap. You know, this is broke by here and coming off, and this is rattling. But I think that's aftermarket anyway.
Yeah, I know. I think.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But yeah, apart from that, touch areas are plasticky, being Japanese, but it is still nice. That's not having a go. It's stuff you expect.
Yeah. I'm really glad I've finally driven an FK2, and although it wasn't a standard example, I think I got a good feel of what the car is about. In my head, a Type R shouldn't have a turbo, but any modern hot hatch should, so in that case, although the car is stiffer than a standard Civic, and possibly a few of its rivals, I still think Honda nailed it.